Hello, I'm Super Orange Cat here today with some of my predictions for week 3 of this college football season. The first game up I have is the noon kickoff tomorrow, Saturday, between Western Kentucky and Indiana. This game will be played in Bloomington, Indiana. Now, things to note is that Indiana has had a very weird start to the season. Early on, they get a close, clutch victory in conference play against Illinois, but last week they were trailing by 10 at halftime to Idaho, of all teams. And they ultimately pulled ahead and pulled away in the second half, but this Indiana team is not good. They don't have Michael Penix Jr. anymore. He's in Washington. And Western Kentucky, they've won. I think they're 3-0. They're at least 2-0 because I know they beat Austin Peay and I know they beat Hawaii. Both of those slaughter fests. And because of that, I think Western Kentucky can go into Bloomington and make it a little scary. In fact, they might win, but I'm not going to officially bet on the win. I'm going to bet on Western Kentucky to beat the 6-point spread. So that is my first pick. Second game is a 3:30 kickoff between the Mississippi Rebels and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. This game will be played at historic Bobby Dodd Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. And this is an interesting story to go into here, an interesting game. Mississippi, they're 2-0, they're ranked, maybe not winning by as much as they should. They won pretty solidly last week, but their first game against Troy, a little shaky, and Georgia Tech is an interesting team to look into. 2 weeks ago, they played Clemson bizarrely tough, at least for 2.5 quarters. Then Clemson just annihilated Tech the last 20, 25 minutes of that game, which led to them losing by 31 points, which led to Clemson actually covering that, which is a bet I got right. And the last game, there were swaths against that game against West Carolina where Western Carolina was the better team, at Bobby Dodd no less. Georgia Tech ultimately pulled away in the second half in that one. But, I mean, Ole Miss is a different monster. Ole Miss, although I wouldn't call them like a playoff contender, they're a darn good team. And I think they go to Bobby Dodd, and not only do they win, they cover the 16.5-point spread. Georgia, and that's not because of Mississippi being a particularly good team. Mississippi does play a very up-tempo offense. They play to score a lot of points. Georgia Tech does not really have a defense, and Georgia Tech, I don't think, can respond in kind with offense to score the points to keep up in this game. I think Ole Miss wins pretty comfortably. And I think that Mississippi does cover the 16.5-point spread. The next game I have is a 7:30 kickoff between 11th-ranked Michigan State and unranked Washington. This game would be played in Husky Stadium in Seattle, Washington. And this has been a very trendy game to look into this week. You might see here the line is 3.5 points to the Huskies, even though on paper the Huskies shouldn't be the favorite in this game. But a lot of people are like, this is the year Washington breaks through. Michigan State play no one. But every time I see these types of trendy picks set up where everyone is really expecting an upset to happen, that upset typically does not end up happening. And Michigan State, they're seeing the rat poison here. And I think they take that personally, and I think they go into Seattle and stomp out Washington. So not only would I say that Washington beats the spread, I think not only does Michigan State beat the spread, I have Michigan State winning outright in Seattle, 7:30 kickoff on Saturday. The last game I have is a 10 p.m. kickoff between the San Diego State Aztecs and the Utah Utes. This game will be played in Salt Lake City. Now, Utah, they had a pretty bad start to the season, losing in the swamp against the Gators. Then they rebounded the next week by absolutely annihilating an FCS cupcake in southern Utah, the Thunderbirds. But San Diego State, this game, my bet on this game is more based on what San Diego State is. San Diego State's not the teams in years past that would have like a 10-2 record. This is a bad team. This team got annihilated by Arizona. This team barely held off an FCS team last week. And based on that, even though I don't think Utah is an amazing team, I think they put up enough offense, and San Diego State's porous enough that Utah ends up covering this 3-touchdown spread. So to sum up my bets again, from the top, my bets are Western Kentucky to beat a 6-point spread, Mississippi to cover 16.5 points, Michigan State on the money line, and the last bet is Utah to cover. If you have any opinions about these picks, you have other picks you have for this upcoming week, leave your comments, leave your opinions down below. I am the Super Orange Cat, and that is all.